There's the recording. All right, once again, my name's Scott Loomis. I'm with Tech for Learning. We're the company that has developed and owns Wixie, and I am your state regional success manager. I actually taught in Baltimore County for 14 years, teaching both fifth grade and then middle school sixth grade, but then working as a K-12 integration specialist for 6 years before joining Tech for Learning. And our stuff, Wixie here, is just amazing. And what I love about, and by the way, for those of you old school people, the predecessor program was called Pixie. So do I have anybody in the house that remembers Pixie besides Debbie and I, because we're so old? There we go. Some hands went up. So Pixie was the installed version. Wixie allowed us to go to the web. The good old days, right? Wixie allowed us to go to the web, hence Wixie with the W. What's amazing about Wixie, although it has shades of Pixie still in it, is just how much we get to develop and enhance that on a very regular basis. What's wonderful about the updates or the small changes or even the glitch fixes we make is that it just happens. You don't have to upload or download or do anything. It's just there. And we continue to add little tools, little components, little elements to different things. And then, of course, over the summer, we do some big steps, as I always call them, as far as we add additional tools and features that can be really significant. And one of those happens to be Talkies. And I think Talkies provide opportunities for so many students to creatively share what they know and moves well beyond the simple ability to just add audio recordings. So just to review, I'm going to go ahead and open up another page. I actually have modified this. I take that back. I'm going to go home and start a new page. If you've not used Wixie recently, which would be like 3 months, there is now a new blue taskbar across the top in the standard theme. You could go to new, especially if you want a portrait, because the painted picture is always going to be landscape, and get the same elements. And there's also adding a folder here and creating assessments here. But basically, when I want to start, and with your students too, you can just say paint a picture, and you go straight to the landscape. We've always talked about the drawing tools. Of course, there are 14 colors here, but the arrows provide different options. And you more than likely in my trainings in the past seen me draw, some type of nature scene. As always, I am a huge fan of the recording tool. If you are relatively new to Wixie or you've been using it for a while, my personal kind of, are you using Wixie effectively or using Wixie meaningfully or not, as far as I'm judging you on like a yes, no almost, is whether or not you're using an audio recording. I truly believe that if you really want to start using Wixie to its full potential, your students are doing some type of audio recording on a very regular basis. I understand the value of sort and sequencing, of true and false, of living, non-living, of something where they just move things around. And that would tend itself more towards maybe the primary grades and centers or stations, or even as a drill or engagement or as an exit ticket. However, I hope that a simple sort and sequence isn't the meat of your assessment, for so many of the other cases. As with every Wixie page, users can add one audio recording that can last up to 5 minutes in length. And I can't say enough that that's 5 minutes for page 1, that's 5 minutes for page 2, that's 5 minutes for page 3. Each page gets its own recording. So we see a lot of students drawing images and then adding audio recordings. It could be seasons for the younger kids. It could be a water cycle that the kids explain for the older kids or older kids from there. It could easily start to enhance into something really powerful for your summative assessment, in which kids do interviews or conversations or public service announcements, or they pretend to be something. I mean, in fourth grade, don't tell me about a famous Marylander. Pretend to be it or interview him or her, and talk about the power and the value of that. The sample I want to show when you move in that direction, actually, let me show you a recording and then I'll do the sample. When it comes to the recording tab, and this is so crucial, probably many of you know this already, but Wixie is a web page and it's going to want to talk to your microphone. The security kind of firewall for any computer, whether it's in Anne Arundel County or Howard County or your home, is typically say, wait a minute, this web page wants to talk to your microphone. Are you going to allow this or not? For your students, it'll say allow or deny the first time they try to use Wixie on this device. Now, once you do it once, you don't have to do it again. If they press deny, which we train them to do, say no, deny, no, don't say yes, we don't want any of that stuff. If the students do say deny, it is easier for them to switch devices and log on to the other account and try again with accept than it is to try to fix the audio connection. And that's because it's not Wixie. It's now in your control or operating system, your control options. So if I'm new to Wixie with my class, I may do a practice, all right, everyone, you're going to draw whatever you want for 5 minutes, and then together do a recording and have them all kind of do it at the same time. And then after that, it's okay. Now that you have fun, it's time for us to do something I want you to do. But once that connection is made, so critical, you press the record item and you get 3 seconds to get ready. Get like warm yourself up. 3, 2, 1, and you're ready to record. This is a picture of a squiggly red line. I did this, I'm going to make, I don't know where this is going to go. I haven't had enough caffeine for this morning. So anyways, I got a red line. I can ramble. You can pause and resume. This was originally designed with ESOL students in mind, or EL. I'm not sure how Anna Rundle designates that. But if a 5th grader, for instance, is doing a newscast and they get tongue-tied like 90 seconds in, it's a 90-second recording, and they get tongue-tied 30 seconds in, they have to, I got to do it all over again. We'd rather them try to pause, untie their tongue, resume, and continue on if necessary. We also see this for even younger kids who are doing recordings off the top of their head. That 5th grader is likely reading a script for something like an interview or a public service announcement. If you're working with kindergarten on seasons and you're talking about spring, you may have made a note on the screen in the room, someplace on the room, because sometimes they need that extra visual, and said you need to talk about the weather, you need to talk about clothing, and you need to talk about wildlife, or like leaves on the trees and things like that. So a kid could talk about one if they don't remember what to say, although it's fine if they want to pause forever or bust into song or whatever. I think it's kind of cute. They could pause, look up at the board for the other thing they're supposed to talk about, and resume from there. Although you could put the instructions on the page in Wixie, which I can show as well, they can't see it while they're recording. So that's why I sometimes think you need a visual representation in your classroom. Right? And feel free to ooh and ah about these, just so I know that you're still here and I haven't lost you. No, I'm joking again. Save it for the good stuff. So I can continue with that resume and stop. There you go, Daniel. I appreciate it. I'm going to stop it, and I can listen to it and keep it, or listen and try again. But even if you keep it, you have a chance to trash it and do a new one. Again, 1 per page. And this would play here. And I hope you're, the example I give a lot, if you haven't been in one of my sessions before, is that, if you're, we got some, it doesn't matter what grade level. If you're in your class, you're sitting in your chair, your kids are sitting maybe on the floor in front of you. No one's touching each other. It's a beautiful moment. And you get to a spot in the story where the character's about to make a decision. You close the book, you look at the kids quizzically, and you say, what do you think she's going to do? You have 10 minutes to record your prediction, explaining why you think that's going to happen, and then to draw a picture of that event. Right? And that's a 10-minute activity. Again, Wixie's strength, and I can't say enough, is to differentiate by product. Look at losing the resource sheet. No need to copy that thing, and have them use Wixie instead to demonstrate their knowledge. But the caveat to this is that in the lesson plan, if it says you're going to work on the worksheet, or the students are going to work on it for 15 minutes, you only got 15 minutes in Wixie. You can't allow them to play. So in my world, do I have them record first when it comes to the prediction, or draw first? What do I make them do? And of course, I believe the correct answer is you got to record first. The last thing you want is 9 minutes into your 10 minutes to look around and realize everybody is still drawing. And you yell 1 minute left and they throw down junk. It's kind of bad. Now, can you draw a picture without, or can you assess a picture without a recording? Not in my world. That's because you can't assume anything. Assuming is not a grade. Oh, I can see where they're going. Well, can you, or you're really stretching it here? I can grade a recording without a picture, because that's the component from the lesson objective, the prediction with the support. So to me, I need to get their content knowledge first, and then they can decorate or fluff or whatever else we need as much as they want. Now, granted, there are many activities in which that needs to rotate. Water cycle, for instance, I just talked about it. I see them drawing the water cycle first and then doing the recording. But again, I think you need to manage how much time they're drawing and focus on using existing images, right? So when I talk about existing images, it's important to know that there are well over 10,000 what we call stickers, which are clip art. There's also over 30,000 copyright-free pictures, or photos, excuse me. And we also have the ability to take a picture from camera, right? I love this for math work or art, for instance, or anything they've drawn. Even if you're working with like kindergarten and you want them to draw a picture of their family, the kids could take a picture of it and then add the audio recording explaining it. And this is where math work comes in. If you teach math, there's that great question, the one that kids love. There's my middle school sarcasm. Explain your mathematical thinking, And of course, the worksheets give like 2 or 3 lines at the bottom. You need to explain how you solve this problem in 16 words or less. What I love about taking a picture of the math work is that, because we all know there's other ways to get the correct answer that aren't always legitimate when it comes to math, is okay, 8's the answer, but how did you get it? Explain your mathematical thinking. And that is the true authentic assessment, is did they understand it? And here's my capture. And think about it, if you got a kid with a 504 or an IEP that it relates to math comprehension, math understanding, whatever, this is an amazing way to capture that understanding and have that artifact that you could then share. But for me, if we're doing something and this one's a little more complex, I want to know how they solved it. And although they could do it in Wixie, the pencil tool or maybe even a stylus is only, some kids struggle with writing and, writing, for instance, numbers on the laptop or device. And I completely get that. So that's why you can take a picture of the work and then have them add the audio. So I love that as well. And then for younger kids, walking around the room, finding, geometric shapes hanging on the wall or maybe the hallway, or of course, if they've designed or built anything. I also love it for science experiments. Have them take pictures at different events and use that as part of the process of, not only the prediction, but before the experiment starts, here's a picture of it. So I love it in that capacity. And then, of course, on the flip side, we also add videos. And that was up here in the top center. Sorry if I went too fast. You can add 1 video per page for up to 5 minutes in length. So I've heard people talk about their kids dressing up as characters from novels. Why not have them pretend to be that character and do a interview or like a halo, introduction of themselves, or something that, again, relates to, in this case, your language arts indicators. If your speech therapists are even slightly tech savvy, you should tell them, hey, listen, you need to use Wixie for artifacts, because then you capture the lips. And I love the recordings, by the way. We got some claps and hearts when I talked about ELL and ESA. Those kids, they take small steps. There's another one. They take small steps, but when they look back, even a month or two, the step is a big step. It's just little every day, big step. I love trying to capture them reading, and even be fluency, like assign a 3-sentence document that they read, maybe as far as they can in 60 seconds. And this is great for like first grade for fluency artifacts. And then you assign the same template again and get a new recording of that passage, then another one. And I love the video, because then you also got lip movements, which can be an issue for some kids. But what's wonderful is that when you start to compare those artifacts, you have a rich opportunity to celebrate. Look how far you've come in just 3 months. And you compare. So videos and recordings provide a rich opportunity in that. And now I feel like I've jumped in a soapbox of ideas. The, again, direction I wanted to talk about too when it comes to that more meaningful assessment. And I'm just going to get something down quick. I love to do this planet one. I'm going to jump into the images. The images, as I mentioned with the stickers, they're there. There are a whole bunch, and many stickers, a whole bunch. There's over 10,000. And my stickers are acting wonky now. Cancel, image, stickers. All right, let's hope that sticks. If not, I'll work with it. There are over 10,000 stickers. Many stickers appear, in multiple locations. I could search, as I'm going to. I don't know why that's fixed. I'm just going to roll with it. And come into space, solar system. I'm going to bring in Mars. If I'm going to talk about planets or moons, I mean, again, if you're doing a bulleted list, you're going to be hard-pressed to find someone who doesn't dislike PowerPoint more than me, because rarely do I see teachers have the students present their projects. If a kid can take 5 words in a bullet list and talk about it for 50 seconds, I think that's brilliant. But a bulleted list in itself is just a pre-writing stage. You and I did it growing up. We probably converted it to an outline and then wrote paragraphs. So bulleted list and PowerPoints on their own aren't too strong, but if you have them apply that knowledge in like an interview, then you're doing pretty good. I happen to be a huge fan, for instance, of the cartoon folder, because I love the body faces under cartoon folder. I'm trying to say, remember cartoon folder. If I want to put eyes on Mars, eyes doesn't get eyelash, or Mars doesn't get eyelashes. There's a eye. I can use this adapt tool, which is a copy paste, FYI. Boom, same size. Sound effects optional. And then I can come down and find a mouth. No lips. Oh, mustache from, no, let me just get a mouth and be done with it. So now I'm ready if I bring in a picture of a boy. Now, of course, you can search by typing in the word and spelling it correctly. However, if you didn't know, you can now search by dictation. Basically, I can click on it, again, with the microphone enabled. Boy. Search boys. Easy enough. So for your younger kids, for the older kids who maybe don't know how to spell and looking for something a little wild, of course, I love that way to search. And now I'm ready to do my recording. Hey, Mr. Mars, my name's Scott. Do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions? I don't mind. What do you want to do? How does the student know what to ask the planet in this case? Are they just going to make it up as they go? I think they know exactly what to ask the planet because you, the teacher, told them. And you, the teacher, knew what question to ask because they're coming right out of the standards or indicators from the unit, from the lesson. So you could actually give them the 4 questions in advance, which is, I think, what you want to do because that guides their research. And then you're setting up the template. So I love things like this. Of course, I hope you're thinking of all sorts of options for doing the interviews, the pretending to be. A lot of kids love to be things because they get to use a voice. They get to do the planet. They get to be a voice for the planet, so they can do in that direction. The neat thing I want to point out, if you don't know, and I hope some people are at least learning a couple things here and there, is that there are instructions. Because this is more of a review feeding into Talkies is where I'm going with that. The clipboard is pretty neat because you need to get in the habit of assigning students completely blank pages. And instead of typing their directions on the page, you type them here in this clipboard. Now, what's wonderful about the instructions is what it's referred to actually, is that here is the teacher 5-minute recording. This is the student one, here's the teacher. You could actually not only read your instructions, but add a whole bunch of extra stuff as well. The stuff you might say when you're passing out worksheets after reading the directions, you say, yeah, but please don't forget to do this, this, and this as well, or just, I would love to see, or whatever. You can do a different recording on each page. So if you're doing like beginning, middle, and end, you could actually, line up and have the instructions over here with your recording on each page as well. What I love about instructions is the way it forces kids to move forward with working on the project on their own. And what do I mean by that? My wife's actually a reading specialist here in Baltimore County, and she has a perfect example. She was working with a group of 3rd graders, and they were doing something, and she created a Wixie template, no surprise, and it involved instructions. And one of the 3rd graders, this little boy at one time pipes up so enthusiastic. He's like, Mrs. Loomis, this is amazing. If I don't know what to do, I can just listen to you read the directions down here in the corner, and I can listen to it as many times as I want. And she's like, that's right, Steve. I don't know why you didn't listen to me when I started the lesson, but okay, you can listen to me now. So again, sometimes the kids are so excited to use the computer that they don't realize that, or they don't listen to directions. So embedding these directions, and when the kid says, what do I do next? What do I do next? Even though you might have reviewed it, you say, hey, check out the instruction. It's all there. So the kids are now forced not to pester you, but to focus on doing that. And I love this too, because then they're self-pacing. They're moving forward, at their own pace. So big fan of that, big fan of the use of the instructions. And you can also put hyperlinks in here. So if you're STEM, for instance, or doing some type of research project, you could put a link and start with a graphic organizer on page 1. And they fill in the graphic organizer based on the research. They would toggle between the 2 tabs on top, between the web page and Wixie. Then you could have 4 blank pages or 2 or 6 or however many questions you want them to ask afterwards, and have them just continue with their research, which they can't lose because it's in Wixie, by answering questions or doing part of a newscast or weather report or something afterwards. And when they're done, I would have them move their graphic organizer to the back, kind of like a bibliography. So when it comes to more sophisticated projects, we're talking intermediate grades now, I would have them do their research in Wixie to collect it, and then to start their project afterwards so they can move back to look at their research and then come down and answer the questions. So deep thoughts so far all around. The one thing you should know is that kids can also work in teams or collaborative teams. A student can invite someone from their class to join their project. Now, not another class, not another grade level in your building, not another school in Anne Arundel, not another school in Wycomico County or from California, just the 25 or so kids in their sections. You have the ability, FYI, to modify this setting within your class. You can disable collaboration until you're ready to use it. And I got to admit, sometimes we get some inappropriate use. And by the way, Wixie tracks every step, and you can actually see who did what if you do get something inappropriate. But if you feel it's worth it, please let me know, and I can help. Or I got people who can assist. We got a couple guys who look at the coding like it's the Matrix. They're amazing. So anyways, however, if I want to turn collaboration because I'm a 5th grade teacher, and you know what? Let's just not even have this on. When I go to my profile image in the upper right-hand corner, which is likely your initial, I go to settings, and I go to my classes. I can open up my 5th grade class and use the spark wheel here. And I can say collaboration. I don't know why it's not standard. I can go collaboration. No, it's already set to no. And that means team will be grade. But when I do an assignment that I want them to use collaboration, I can turn it on and go from there. So FYI, but I do like the team because you get to do those conversations with kids working from different devices. So one child does the question pages, one does the answer. And again, I see so many off the top of their head, but I see so many scripts as well. So with all of the audio that I've been talking about, I want to go ahead and, actually, Sierra, that's interesting because if you have access to that student in another class, when you go to settings and go to my classes, you can actually create a custom class, add a new one. So you can pull kids from classes that you have access into a single section. So like a guidance counselor can get a divorce. They got like a divorce group that kids who have divorced parents can talk, together. It's like a social emotional thing. They can say, okay, I need this kid from this class. I need these two from this class. I need one from one. So assuming you have access to that student to begin with, you could add them to your own custom classes. Yes, you can actually. William's pointing that out. If you have like if I teach third grade and there's a resource teacher that works just with third grade, if they have a Wixie account, I can say co-teacher and I go find that teacher from my classroom list. And now Amy has access to my class. That's all it takes. But you have to have access to the class and that person has to have an account. So just like William pointed out, basically that's what the double icon is. Share my access with that person. So this way, if they pull out kids in the back of the room into small groups, they can make templates and assign just to those 4 kids, or they can actually just be able to see the work they do if they're not assigning templates. William, I'll tell you what, you're co-presenting with me next time, brother. All right. So
you're the rock star, Scott. I'm just here for the ride.
I love it. I love it. All right. So now with all of the kind of overview about audio recordings, let's talk about taking it to the next level. And that is by adding a magic widget. Specifically, we're adding a magic sticker, a magic talkie. Right? So what exactly is a talkie or a magic sticker? I do want to point out what the magic sticker's mentality is. What's wonderful about a magic sticker, let's take out, for instance, the 0 to 9. When a student opens this page, this number will randomize between 0 and 9 for each kid. And it only randomizes once. It randoms when they open and then locks. So I know it's our habit, for instance, like a kindergarten teacher to say, okay, everyone do 7 bears on this page, you do a quantity. Everyone do 9 on this page. Everyone do 3 on this page. How about use our random number and have each kid's project be different, right? So now when they open it up, each of them get their own number, so they're not copying off or leaning over and looking at the neighbor next to them. And it's likely that they'll be more engaged because, okay, this is mine. That's not everybody. It's just mine. So it's important to know that the number, although for me, will change every time I come back to the page because I'm a teacher. The number will randomize when it gets opened, as I mentioned. Some of the magic stickers, like the spinners or the rolling dice, you may want to work a tally sheet. So showing it to make it randomized for you wouldn't allow you to draw anything. So when you're working with magic stickers, I can try to click on all I want and nothing will happen. It's important to know that if you lock it under Edit and Properties, lock it, it now becomes something you can click on and randomize. 9, tally, 9. Back to arrow, do another. 5, pen, 5. Back to arrow, roll again. So these magic stickers are basically virtual manipulatives. So if we can make, and we should look at the rest really quick. We have, again, the clicks for things like heads and tails, but we do it red or yellow. Magic 8 ball, which is just for fun. 0 to 6 and a 0 to 10 there. The dates and times also random. And what's nice too is you can do, just random times for kids telling time. We do have a bunch of math stickers from fraction pieces, 10 frames and 5 frames to half an hour, or random. Again, you put 2 of these on it, or you put 1 base 10 plus 1 base 10, and everyone, when they come in, it'll be this one has 2 bars and this or rods. This one has 2 rods and this has 4, and the next page could be another different 2. So everybody would have a different set of 2. And by that, I just mean, bringing in 1. I could just use the 3 dots and duplicate this, putting a plus sign in the middle. And again, every time the student was to open that particular page, just the first time, it would be random. And then I may just do 3 of these problems, and every kid has a slightly different problem, which I love. Again, a little more authentic. Yes, the music, it does play the pitches and notes. It's kind of cool. Let your music teacher know. The spinners are great. We got 0 to 6, 0, 4, 3, open ones that you can maybe do words on the side. And then we got, well, these don't have numbers either, but we do 8 to 24 and the 6 as well. Some of them land on the lines when you roll them, which just means you get to roll again. That's just how it happens. And then, of course, the timers. These are countdowns you can use in your class. The big deal is if you expect it to do anything, you got to lock it or just show the page. So let me go here. Page 3, widget, timer, 30 seconds, show. Oh, I may have to move to it. 2, 3, and click it. Or again, if you lock it down, you can play it on the page. Yeah, Charla.
Hi. I don't have the widget in my menu bar.
Oh, interesting. Now, does your layout look the same as mine?
Yeah.
So you don't have tools over here on the left. It has the tools like this here on the right. I'm wondering if you're in the primary.
Yeah, mine looks like yours, but next to video, there's nothing.
That's just wild. And can you go open a new project for me, just in case?
Okay.
Because you can actually disable these tools for students, so you know they don't need them. You're just trying to make them focus.
Okay, that's true. I'm in the notes file that they gave us. So let me try something new.
I was thinking that too, Daniel, but usually there'd be a plus sign on top. If it was too small of a screen, it wouldn't just be one of the 4.
Okay, that's what it is. They've disabled it.
It was just that file. Okay.
Thank you.
There you go. Yeah. So for those of you who can't see, it must have just been that file. And the reason is when you go to File and Project Settings, you can disable specific features. So for some reason, that was just part of that setup. Good catch. Others people obviously noticed it as well. So these are magic stickers as far as the movement stuff. And they're kind of like one category. The other category are magic stickers are talkies. So if we can make a flipper go from red to yellow, why couldn't we make a mouth that open and closes? In fact, why can't we make a mouth that open and closes that follows the sound, the recording, the audio recording? And as that audio recording goes bigger and smaller, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? With the sound file, the wider the sound file goes, the louder it is, the wider the mouth will open. So it's not this while you do the recording. It's, potentially opening. I know this is like hand puppets here, but what's wonderful about it is that your kids, the talkies are very neat in how they respond. So let's bring in one. I like my favorite, Mike. The microphone is my favorite. He's a little flirty too. He also got the monster there. And we're going to look more in just a second. And I'm going to cut you loose for some practice, but let me bring it in. Or I can go. I want just Mike on the page. So I'm going to delete that guy. So here's Mike. Mike he winks at us. He's blinking his eyes. He's living large. Mike is set to go. And what you'll notice when you select talkies is you get a very unique option panel on the right, as you do with any tool. This one allows us to add speaking capacity in 2 ways. One by text, one by an audio recording. Just like with a text object, you can do speech to text. Hi, my name is Scott. I'm here today to talk to you about Wixie. Boom. And you could, of course, read that.
Hi, my name is Scott. I'm here today to talk to you about Wixie.
And what I love about this is you can actually do a page or 2 with just text objects, have the computer read it, and then page 3 be like a retell or something like that. So again, great for learning, for developing readers, as well as ESOL students where it highlights the words. So I'm a big fan for that. So if we can do that, why not have a section where you could type or you could record and then choose the voice that it uses. So this is for your shy kids that just think they can't do recordings and they don't want their voice. They're really paranoid about it. Once you lock a sticker model, you should have an unlock option over here on the right panel. When you are on that page, try to click on it. It should still have a frame on around that says unlock, or you open that edit preferences and say checkbox to, or uncheck the lock box. Gluing is when you make it permanent, but you can unlock things as well. So what's wonderful about this too is you have the ability to kids to do, again, speech to text. Hello, my name's Mike. I'm here today to talk to you about those amazing white things in the sky. They're called clouds, and they are so cool. I click on the mic again to turn it off, and I'm set to go. Now, what's wonderful about this is I have 6 voices to choose from, 3 from the UK. So why am I not going to make my guy go British? I could also default the speed. usually like your speech, when it reads that paragraph with the yellow boxes, that's an operating system speed thing. But with the Talkie, we're able to provide options to slow it down or not. So when I try it, and watch his mouth.
We can't hear it.
Oh, no, I thought I tested this earlier. I am, that's just bumming me. And Molly, I'm not sure that I may need to give you, wondering with the edit mode, are you still in the show mode? Or are you in edit in the upper right? There's got to be a way to unlock it. If not, undoing back to it. But why can you not hear it? Oh, darn it. That just bums me out. I thought I tested that. So I apologize. Let's present audio. All right, so there needs to be an unlock spinner. Maybe that's just a glitch. So what you could do is delete the page and add a new page and kind of start again. I hope it's not too advanced. And again, I'm not sure about the audio, but I think you guys heard me the first time, so we're going to be okay with that. I hope you noticed his mouth didn't open and close. He had a pretty cool English, accent, not Spanish. So maybe, let me give you a chance to try one in a moment here. The other side of this, maybe we're going to try this one. Did you guys hear it when the text box read and highlighted yellow? Yes. Oh, see, now I don't know what's going on. All right. Got my mind going this morning. I'm going to transition. I'm sorry. I can't process why that's not working right now. I'm so sorry. I am going to talk about the ability to do a recording, and we're going to see if maybe that's the case. So instead of doing the text, I'm going to record, and it's just like the audio recording. So I'm going to press record. I get 3 seconds to get ready. Hello, my name is Mike, and I'm here to talk to you about clouds. Stop. Keep. Try it. Hello, my name is Mike, and I'm here to talk to you about clouds. That's working for some reason. I don't know why. But you will notice the mouth open and closed. Now, here is the cool part about this. You can add multiple talkies on one page. So you can do talkie here, talkie here. You can do 3 or 4. Talkies will play, if you show them, from top to bottom. So if you want to do a conversation, it's comic book style, top to bottom. And if there's a tie, it's left to right. So I could bring in this talkie. I could bring in, lo and behold, is there a cloud one? Talkies, weather. There's a cloud. He's a little dark, but let's go with him. So he's a cloud. Looks, I want him to flip over because I'm a little type A. So I did have that looks choice. And this guy apparently has some mouth. Let me add some audio. 3, 2, 1. Mike, it's a pleasure to be here today. I'm happy to answer any of the questions you may have. Keep. I'm going to move it down a little bit to get the bottom to top. And let's show the page. Again, I should just start doing new pages. Here we go. Play it. Hello, my name is Mike, and I'm here to talk to you about clouds. Mike, it's a pleasure to be here today. I'm happy to answer any of the questions you may have. So this is going to allow us, again, to do multiple talkies on a page, which will encourage things like conversations, arguments, justifications, and whatnot. The widget, the talkies file. Talkies only been around since last June. So this library continues to expand dramatically. We have not only a lot of these generic ones, you'll see different elements like rocks, if you're doing rocks and minerals, some seasonal things, shamrock, there's a thermometer, there's a tooth for, of course, health units, spyglass, got to have a lively, smiley face. Scott, my talkie's not in here. Can you make this? Well, could you add a mouth to it and make that work? And I know these are all cutesy. We're looking at adding a couple more, a little more official looking ones so you can put on things like famous Marylanders or historical figures and whatnot. Animals. There's a lot here, and it continues to add. Food. Why not be an avocado and do a healthy eating public service announcement? So you can have a lot of fun with that. And, of course, people. And the people folder is pretty stacked. Right? So we got some seasonal things. I envision not only the kids adding talkies on their own, but wouldn't it be cool if you added a talkie and you, in your template, before you assigned it, did a recording asking a question? And then you put the other talkie on the page before you assign it, but they have to record themselves responding to it. You could do that with the microphone using the instructions and then the other recording, but the talkies are so much more fun and engaging for the kids. And what I mean by that is you could ask the question and they're pretending to be like a first grade or second doing animals. So, Mr. Animal, or I guess whatever generic term you want to use. So, Mr. Animal, where exactly do you live? And then the kid will add the recording. Well, I live in the woods and I like to do this, this, and this. Could interview, you could set up the interview for the planets. And again, we're talking about efficient work on the part of the kids, and having them always start from a blank page isn't necessarily the most efficient way, because you got to stick to the timetable of the curriculum, and therefore your assessment or productivity time, creation time, isn't always huge. So again, set it up, Q&A, famous people. You can easily interview a book or a character from a book. In fact, maybe I'm spoiling some great ways. Okay, how does the page know what like to talk first? Jeremy, it's always top to bottom. So in this case, and that's why I lowered the cloud down a little bit. I wondered if the kind of indicator point for Mike is like in the middle, like if you draw a vertical and horizontal line. So I wanted Mike's center to be a little bit higher than the cloud center. So if I was to move it up a little bit here, and again, I got to go ahead and show it. Sorry, I got to skip a couple pages here. Mike, it's a pleasure to be here today. I'm happy to answer any of the questions you may have. So again, top to bottom, comic book style is the way I go. Right. So let's talk about ideas. My ideas are jumping out of the head. I threw some out there. Have you any ideas about how the kids could use Talkies in your, what would they record? What would the Talkies say? And could you kindly add that to the chat box? I would hope that you had a unit that resonates with. Hopefully you haven't taught it yet, but I understand if you may have. There's always next year, right? Sound like a sports team here. But some idea, some creative opportunity, maybe even coming up. And whether it's just them, there you go, Jessica. Oh, I love that already. If it's just them, or are you piggybacking with them to try to set up, again, some type of Q&A or newscast or whatnot. And, a lot of your kids, especially first time through, may need something like that. William, I'm going to push it. Can you be more specific to something? Do you have a specific idea? Like, I think of like Island of the Blue Dolphins, for instance. The kids could do public service announcements about safety on the island, watching the wild dogs, looking for water, things like that. If there's a specific topic in mind, because you can go from literature to, you can do public service announcement on how to convert an improper fraction to a mixed number if you wanted, technically. Oh, sweet STEM idea there, Dan. Yep. And you're right, Charlie. Why does it have to be grandiose? Retelling a story to the beginning, the middle, the end, making predictions, doing things. It doesn't have to be huge every time. The greatest stuff is those things that you can do that have produced that powerful assessment in 10 to 15 minutes. Molly, I've always thought about loyalists and patriots arguing with each other, but doing a breakup, that's hysterical. I used to teach fifth grade. Oh, they would love it, wouldn't they? I can just see it. Oh, please, colonies, don't leave. I love you so much. That is the best idea I've heard in a long time. Nice job, Molly. That's great. Oh, is U.S. history in fourth grade now, or at least in Anne Arundel? Yep. All right. Well, I'm sorry, I got my things mixed up. I mean, I taught explorers at one point in fifth grade, so I know I don't know if they teach explorers at all anymore. But I'm old. I realize that some of you weren't even born when I started teaching. 1993 to be exact. Debbie's the same way with me, right? Did he? There you go. Brandy agrees. All right. These are amazing. Again, that's your idea. That's your hope. Is we're trying always to create to engage and motivate our students to share what they know and understand at some level of rigor. And I don't know, COVID and everything else, it just seems like kids can be very ho-hum about everything. There's not a lot of importance to it. But when you're able to differentiate by product, lose what maybe the curriculum guide suggests, and do something. And again, the Talkies are right now kind of the hot thing, but they allow so much creativity that you can do it, in so many different fashions. And this kids are going to buy up. And then you throw in a dash of originality or creativity like Molly did there, and the kids are just going to totally engage. The nice thing about Wixie, as it's always with Wixie, is they're not limited to the amount of time in the classroom. If today's assessment was for 15 minutes, you can tell the kids, listen, I want to do more. I want to do more. You can do it at home, right? You can do it at home. The most important thing to remember, too, when it comes to work at home, and I'm going to kind of show how accessing student work. When the students are obviously finished their work, then again, Wixie saves every 15 or 20 seconds all by itself, and students' work is automatically made available every 15 or 20 seconds for you to see. So there's no Dropbox. So for you teachers teaching the youngest students, just know that they open up Wixie and get straight to it, especially if you do an assignment, and that there's no dropbacks at the end, they just close out. So they're on task the entire time. But when you're viewing student work, just remember, I'm going to go to third grade, that when you open the thumbnail to look at the work, and you can play it if there's a recording or talkie, you want to mark it as complete so they can't change it. Again, you want kids using Wixie at home for fun. Think about them doing a talkie. There was a birthday cake talkie. They can open up the birthday cake talkie, record themselves singing happy birthday grandma, and send it to grandma. I mean, what's wonderful about them using it at home too is they become more proficient with the program. So that's completely cool, but the last thing you want them to do is mess up a template that you want to show in an IEP or a 504 parent conference. So when I grade a template or grade a work for the kids, I mark it as complete because it goes static. It's like they turned it in. They can't do anything else. You can change your mind later, and then I give a comment. The thing you may want to do with Talkies, however, is add it to your own personal showcase. When you add a file, a student work to your showcase, it gives you a copy of this file indefinitely. The kid goes to another school next year, graduates to middle school, whatever. So when you're at home, and you go to showcase, here's your showcase items. So I have a sample to show next year's fourth graders, type deal, or next year's second graders in this book here. But you can easily showcase items to go from there. And again, just to be clear with the projects, I'm not sure where everyone is. I should have possibly asked, but when you do, there's a lot of ways to assign a template. When you go to File and Assign, choose your class. If today is the first date, and this is where your resource teacher can select individual students when assigning templates. You can do all or some. If today is the first date, it'll happen immediately. So if you're having one of those moments, just tell them to wait. If they are already in Wixie, you may need to have them refresh in order for the assignment to show up. But again, what's wonderful about assigning in Wixie is when the kids are then prompted to load or open, Wixie, the assignment will be the first thing on the top of the page. Easy in, easy out. But assigning in Wixie, even blank pages sometimes, especially to produce a universal name, is huge. So the last thing I guess I got a few more minutes because I do want to show some of the things we're starting to see within the pre-made templates involving Talkies. So our templates, if you don't know, have been divided into two groups last summer. There are curriculum templates, and then there's templates which are much more open-ended. The curriculum templates have a clear and obvious lesson objective. We know you're using this for reading comprehension. We know you're using this for number operations. We know you're using this for types of matter. Templates, we're not so sure. I mean, I talked about teaching the explorers when I taught. Under templates, math, there's the cube template. We did explorer cubes. You may do a character cube. You may do a vocabulary cube. I don't know what you're doing, but again, it's a template because it's generic. We also see under templates and general, a lot of, we see some, by the way, rainy day stuff now that's showing up as far as games go, but templates for journals, for books. We see a snow globe, too late, but maybe next year. Passes, some choice boards for a field trip. Again, in a lot of the choice boards, we'll see there are a bunch. There's probably 50 of them. If you assign these to students, great emergency subplans, by the way, they can click on which one they want to do. So, and what's wonderful is you can sign it from home, and it's not like your sub needs the Wixie account. You just direct the kids to open it or sign it and just tell them to open Wixie, and then they see it. So there's a field trip one. We see these all over the place as well. And then things like the wanted poster and whatnot are down here. However, when I go into curriculum, I go into folders like social emotional. Is this an opportunity to do some talkies? Heck yeah. Calm monster, angry monster, kids recording their feelings, how they feel about something. So we see talkies just sitting there ready to go. Again, with talkies or with templates, you have the option to try it, assign it as is, or customize. Try it's just giving you a chance to explore how it works. If it's more than just, if you feel like doing the sort and sequence, which teachers do often, you can. Assign it means just as it is, and it gets that same prompt window. Customize means I want to copy because I might make some changes that are unique for my students or student, if this is particularly for a small group. So you're going to see talkie templates, for instance, show up in a lot of different places. That was under social emotional. Here's a happy monster. Here's 5-finger retell. We did a lot of the colored different monsters here, but you're also going to see them in places like science. Why not? Because, the microphone and beakers and all sorts of things. Let's see which folder it's in. Earth. Oh, no talkies in here yet. There's topsoil. Oh, no, there's a talkie rock interview. And there's the eyeball, which is another talkie. So you're doing Q&As. through Talkies there. So basically what I'm saying is not only have we thought about these ideas in Wixie, you're going to see a lot of them added, and a lot of them involve kids creatively sharing what they know. And many of them will lead more towards a unit summative assessment than maybe the day in, day out, right? All right. Let's see, Carla. Can I search just for Talkies? Oh, I think the answer is yes. I didn't know. It was just a chance. So that means if you do a search in the curriculum you see up here, just because you type geometry or comprehension or something, that's yes. I might have to work that in my next presentation, Carla. Thank you. Yeah. I believe you can, Brandy. And basically, I'm just going to go ahead and move back to my projects. I'm going to bring in a new project really quick. When you go to when you do the video, there is linking from YouTube. Oh, would you be able to do a discovery ed here? If you had it downloaded on your machine, you could bring it in from my file and go locate it, or could you, or put it on your Google Drive, cancel, and do it. It's gonna have you're gonna have to check it out, Brandy. I think you can. I'm not 100% sure. You know, the problem we have with videos is because the storage is something that we do. When you download a video of the project, you've just turned it into a potentially 30 megabyte file. And that's also now on the cloud, which could potentially slow down that video significantly. So what I would almost recommend do, this is how actually, Brandy, I would do it. I would put the link to the Discovery Education video here and have them click on it, and then it would open in a second tab, and they can watch it and then toggle back to Wixie to then do the answer the questions you have or do the information you're looking for. So hyperlink it, which I think you can hyperlink to a Discovery Ed video, and then it won't be part of the video. It'll work much more fluid than going wireless with a large video size. So the next thing, the kind of final stretch I want to show, two things. First, if you're looking for ideas in Wixie, we've embedded not only the help, which is here, and just in time starting Wixie resources for beginners, but we've embedded all of our lesson ideas in Wixie now as well within the programs of the Wixie webpage. When you go to lesson ideas, and we had a handful of third grade teachers, for instance, and I go to third grade just looking for some ideas of what you can do in Wixie, there are dozens and dozens and dozens of ideas. I'm waiting for the picture so it's a little more dramatic, but okay, Diary of a Snowflake. Let's click on it. Ooh, engage. Here's the template sample. Create. This is an observation quality lesson plan here. Not all of them are this way, but many are, including the resources and the standard links. And we do Common Core, so you're in luck. So when I go back to third grade, there they are. There's 4, 8, fractions, math, 12, 16, symmetry, subtraction. A lot of these authentic-based math projects are things I did for my MSPAP days. Throwback there. 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40-ish, 52, 60, 68, 72, 76, 80, 88, 96. There's over 100 ideas in this list. I had no clue we were that many. Like I said, we're putting all of our good stuff in the program. So here's Mother's Day things to think about, things that would work really well towards the end of the school year too. But again, this is an opportunity for you to check one out, to kind of follow it up, to give it an idea, or kind of give it a look through to see if it's an idea you like. Great ideas. And lastly, I do on a pretty regular basis a lot of virtual meetings with teachers, rather one-on-one or in team level groups. And typically I refer to these webinars or virtual meetings as helpings. If I talk to a teacher who's brand new to Wixie, I know I need like 25 or 30 minutes. But from then on, if you want to talk specifically about a lesson, Scott, how does this happen? You know, I love this idea. How does this happen? That's a 10 or 15-minute conversation. Scott, we're coming up on a new science unit. I'd love to use Wixie, but I got to be honest, I'm struggling on ideas. Let's just brainstorm. Let's shoot some ideas. 10 or 15 minutes. Hi, Scott. My name's Tiffany. I got your name from Charla. She says you're awesome. She loved all your ideas. I'm kind of new to Wixie. You know, I would like some ideas or this or that. You know, if you want to refer, and I talked about the speech therapists. You know, if they're not using the video recording, they're missing out on a rich artifact opportunity. Just have them contact me and I'll be happy to meet with them. So I'm throwing this up primarily so you can see my email again, my contact information. I'm pretty active with Twitter in that I will retweet what other people have done. in Maryland and Virginia, or actually most of the East Coast. I do Pennsylvania to Georgia now. I'm not as active as I used to be. This X isn't as easy, I think. I don't know if that's just me, but I do put a lot of ideas up there, not, what I had for breakfast or things like that. So with that, I'm going to open it up to questions. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you walked away with some new thoughts or kind of new understanding of Wixie. Wow, I can't believe I can do all this, but also some new thoughts on how to, what you can do with it. Not only, okay, I learned new tools and features, but I can't wait to use it in this capacity. Oh, you guys are kind. A little celebration stuff. Deb, is there a sign-up sheet or something they need to complete?
Yes, I'm putting in the chat now.
All right. Please don't forget to complete the exit ticket. It's how you get credit. Knows you're not just sleeping in or you went away and started folding some laundry. You're welcome, Charla. Thank you.
I'm going to stop the recording.
So here, if you want to go ahead. Oh, I'm going to wait for the recording to start. But at this point, when the recording has stopped, I can do the stop recording, I think. No, I can't.
I think I did.
I still see the red.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, hold on. All right. Here we go.